Hello, this is David Lentz. I'm an attorney in the Commonwealth of Virginia. What follows primarily concerns cases that will be tried, both criminal and traffic cases that will be tried in the state courts of the Commonwealth of Virginia. We do handle federal cases, but this video concerns mostly what happens in state courts. If you have a federal case, please feel free to ask us. Also, when push comes to shove, you need to consult an attorney, and you shouldn't rely exclusively on what is said in this video to determine what to do if you end up representing yourself. So with that in mind, here's the video. Thanks for joining us.
Hello folks, this is Attorney Dave Lentz. Thanks for tuning into our video. If you've been charged with a criminal offense or have been given a traffic ticket, we're here to help you. Our motto is to be honest, effective, and affordable. We handle both state and federal cases, whether they're misdemeanors or felonies, regardless of how serious or how simple the charge is. Let me just start off by saying that we're sorry you're going through the stress of a situation like this. We know that it's sleepless nights and what have you, but like I said, we're here to stand by you and get the best result possible. Our goal is always full acquittal, meaning you walk away without any fine, penalty, no jail, nothing on your criminal record. That's always our goal to begin with. Let me point out to begin with that anything you tell us during the course of our conversation is confidential. I don't tell the police, I don't tell the judge, I don't tell anybody what we've talked about during our conversations. Which raises the first point, which is you have a right not to testify in any criminal case. That's a Fifth Amendment right that you have. In terms of going into the facts of a case, we go through them thoroughly with you to figure out, number one, whether or not, who the witnesses are, what are the facts of the case. We look specifically and in depth as to whether or not your Fourth or Fifth Amendment rights have been violated. Fourth Amendment is search and seizures. They have to be reasonable and based on probable cause. Your Fifth Amendment rights are the right not to testify, and also during a custodial interrogation after you've been arrested, the police are supposed to give you what are known as your Miranda warnings, which are you have the right to remain silent, you have the right to an attorney. If you can't afford one, one will be appointed. Anything you say can be used against you. Those are essentially your Miranda rights. Like I said, we will talk to the witnesses, we talk to the police officer, we talk to the prosecutor, we do investigate the facts of your case, and sometimes if it appears after a thorough investigation that it is likely that you're going to be convicted, sometimes what we would do under those circumstances is enter into some sort of negotiation with the prosecution to minimize any sentence and any penalty. We look for things like being allowed to do weekend time or home incarceration.
And lest I forget to mention it, another option, of course, is work release, so you can keep your job.
There are a variety of programs that you can go to. One, maybe the court will be willing to take the case under advisement, and if you're a good person for a year or so, you come back, maybe the case will be dismissed. We look for those possibilities, and we advocate on your behalf, not only in front of the judge, but also when we're negotiating with the prosecutor. Let me make one thing very clear. Litigation is inherently uncertain, so neither I nor any other lawyer can ever make a guarantee regarding what we think the results of the case are going to be. We've been practicing law since 1979. So we have lots and lots of experience. We give you an educated guess, but it's very educated. we're right a very high percentage of the time, but there's no guarantees. So, and not only that, we're not the judge. We don't know what side of the bed he gets up on in the morning. So just be aware that anything we tell you is not by way of guarantee. It's an educated guess as to what the result of the case is going to be. Let's talk for a second. Anytime you're charged with something where you possibly can go to jail, you have a right to a jury trial. Now, jury trials have a tendency to be very labor intensive. I would have to prepare jury instructions. There's jury selection, then jury deliberation. Most of the time you can't do a jury trial in less than a day. They take lots of time, lots of paperwork, and therefore they have a tendency to be more expensive. However, you've got to convince a lot of people to unanimously agree that you're guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. But anyway, you may want to ask us about a jury trial. Fees. Now, fees depend on the facts of any particular case. How many witnesses are there going to be? How many pretrial motions are going to be filed? Is there going to be a pretrial motion to suppress evidence because a search was done illegally? Try to exclude that evidence so it can't be used to incriminate you. Maybe try to exclude a confession you've made to the police because it was taken in violation of your Miranda rights. So fees depend on whether those motions are going to be filed, whether there's going to be independent hearings. In misdemeanor cases, usually you go to court once, okay, and that's it. So the fees tend to be lower. In felony cases, up front, in a worst case scenario, the lawyer is probably going to have to go to court and appear at least 3 and probably 4 times. That's in a worst case scenario. Sometimes you can enter into a plea agreement and not go back so many times. But you don't have total control over that situation unless, well, you're very fortunate. So obviously the fact that a lawyer has to assume that he's going to have to go to court several times in a felony case makes them more expensive. We typically find that, fees in misdemeanor cases for us start sort of at about $450 and go up from there depending on how many charges and how many witnesses there are, how many pretrial motions. Felonies, generally, in the super simplest felony case, it's going to be at least $1,200, but they go up from there if there's, several charges, how many witnesses are there, how many pretrial motions, was there a police lineup, for example, was that lineup legitimate? Maybe a motion regarding that, maybe, there could be lots of motions that would be filed. Generally speaking, super simple, $1,200. When for a lot of felony cases, you're talking probably somewhere between $1,800 and $2,500. If you, that's for most cases. Like I said, it's always fact specific to the case. If it's going to be a jury trial, it's gotten to the point anymore where I'm very hesitant to take a jury trial for less than at least $4,000, and they could go up substantially there. I had a rape and abduction case. Case ended up being tried twice. That case cost a lot more than that. In any event. So it all depends. It's hard to generalize about fees, but what you really need to do is go to the special page on our website, which talks about a special reduced rates. We always have a special for in criminal and traffic cases, so you need to check out that page on our website, special reduced rates. At the initial consultation, if you can, it's really helpful because it helps us give you a better assessment of the case, to either have or be intimately familiar with your DMV record or your criminal record. Those are both very important because they have a lot to do with the strength that I have in terms of negotiating with the prosecutor about your case. It's super important, the prior criminal record. You can go on the state police website to get your prior record. pay them a fee, and you get it. I can't get it for you. You have to get it yourself, and or go to DMV and get you in a traffic ticket case, get your prior DMV record. Have all your court papers when you talk to me at the consultation. Speculation is a big waste of time, and it causes phone tag and confusion and makes the process less efficient. Let's see here. I think that's probably going to about do it. You may want to stay tuned. There is a little bit of information about what's available on our website regarding your ability to set up appointments, which is really super easy, and the special reduced legal fees. There's also a page on there that talks about the very, very helpful suggestions on what to do when you get in court, and you may want to check that out. So anyway, thanks for watching this video, and stay tuned. Thanks.
Okay, folks, it's Dave Lentz. I'm going to give you a quick tour of our website simply because it has a lot of great and very useful information in it. It's my first and last name, davidlentzlaw.com. And if I can pull it up here, let's see here, here we go. It looks like this. You'll know you're there because it's a very blue website. I like that color blue, I guess. But anyway, so, and there is you can click on any page at the very bottom and it'll take you there. And it's at the top as well. So, for example, if you wanted to visit something to learn a little bit more about me, you could do so. You just click About Us, and it would take you to a page with should have my resume. Yeah, my whole resume is in here. We want to make sure that you check out this page because it has to do with legal fees. We have a page that discusses attorney's fees generally, but we have special reduced legal fees, and you want to check out that page because it talks about things like payment plans and when you're eligible to get special low rates in a lot of different circumstances. We have them for a variety of different situations, folks that are not well off financially, folks who are charged with criminal or traffic cases, and then for some businesses who have a lot of extensive legal needs, we have a special rate for those folks as well to try to keep their fees down. We have two pages, and I won't go into which one to use at what period of time. The website describes that. Two pages where you can pay your legal bill online. You go right there, and there's a Pay Now button. You use that. And folks that have to go to court, we have a page dedicated just providing advice for that. If you want to take a look at that, very useful information there. Okay. There are some things that if you've got a criminal case and we're representing you, or a traffic summons for that matter, and we're representing you, we need for you, we make it, unfortunately, we have to make it a requirement on our clients to be sure to read sentencing and pleas in criminal and traffic cases. It's this page down here. The reason is that during the course of the case, you may get asked about a lot of this information on here. And so if you clicked on it, it'll take you to the page in question. And below it, we need for you to go the whole way down to the bottom. And one of the reasons we need to have you go the whole way to the bottom is, well, there is some black spot, is at the very bottom we have we're required by the court to advise you of this type of stuff. We have listed what the typical generalized punishments are for various crimes. Most misdemeanors, you can get in a sentence of jail for up to 1 year and a fine of not more than $2,500. And you can see the other. And this is important because anytime you can go to jail, which would be class 1 or class 2 misdemeanors or any felony in state court in Virginia, you have a right to a jury trial. And we mentioned that elsewhere. Here are the felony punishments. And you can see up here in the misdemeanors, anytime it's a class 1 or class 2, you face potential jail time. So you technically would have a right to a jury if the case gets to circuit court. They don't have juries in general district court. In felony cases, you always have a right to a jury. There are the penalties for felonies right there. You can take a gander at those. And you can stop the video if you want, get a closer look. I don't want the video to go on too long. But anyway, that's at the bottom of this page, and you can visit it. Now, at the top of the page is more information that is very relevant. Now, the information in these sentences are technically only going to be asked in cases that get to circuit court. But as a practical matter, the information that's contained in these pages is something that people that even are charged only with misdemeanors should know and be aware of, because this kind of stuff can affect the rest of your life. And you can see, if you wanted to expand these pages, hit Control Plus, and you can make them bigger so they're more easily read. In any event, but just sort of to give you an idea of what's on those pages, like I said, you can hit Control Plus, and it'll make the page bigger so you can see each of the individual pages. But a big one, for example, would be that if you plead guilty or nolo contendere, you give up the right to have your case tried by a jury. You give up the right not to incriminate yourself. You give up the right to confront and cross-examine witnesses. You give up the right to present a defense. And you largely give up your right to appeal the case to a higher court, like the Court of Appeals or the Virginia Supreme Court. Another biggie that's in these pages is if you are under probation or you have possible comeback time, if you commit a probation violation on an offense you've previously been convicted of, you may have to serve the part of the unserved part of your suspended sentence under the previous charge that you were convicted of in a previous case. In plea agreements, the court doesn't always have to accept the plea agreement. Anyway, so there's a lot of good information on there, and you should be aware, and you should read the information on these pages. We require we tell you you need to do it, and we assume that you did do it. So you've got to read these pages. And so I just wanted to advise you of that. Okay, one page that I want to talk about in particular is our page for, first of all, I want to again emphasize, I've pointed out before this page on advice for when you go to court. There's some very important information there. It's on that page, there's like 15 or 20 points that you definitely want to read. Criminal and traffic cases. We first of all, you can click through to our special receipt. You want to make sure that a special fee doesn't apply to you. Usually they are quite favorable, help people out financially. You want to check that out. And there's our phone number. Like I said, you can always set up your own phone appointment. All you have to do is basically go to this page right here and click on it. Very simple instructions there. That avoids a lot of phone tag. We have a video. Normally, we are preparing, as I'm doing this video, to update this video right here. It's going to be substantially the same, but we did this video a while back, and I just want to be modern, I guess. But even this video has great information in it, and it tells about where we handle cases. And if you want to, you can even set up a phone appointment here if you want to at the contact page at the bottom. And of course, we have another contact page as well, so you could set up an appointment either on this page or here or here. And I think I mentioned before that we have ways to make payments online. This takes you to a PayPal page. You do not have to have a PayPal account to use this. You would just use the guest tab, and you can pay as long as you have an ATM card or a credit card, a debit card, something like that. You're good to go on that. So I just wanted to point those things out. Please feel free to call and ask any questions. And I just thought you might like to know about that. So there you have it.